For our next presentation, I'd like to call up one of our trustees. He is responsible for representing us outside of the state, and namely one of the places in his own department, and that's our trustee, Greg Okosi from the City of Stamford Police Department.
Before I present the next award, a couple of things I'd like to mention.
Yes, not everybody, just quiet down. We've got two presentations coming up here. Quiet down, please.
Thank you, Dan. Before I present the next award, just a couple of housekeeping. First, we're having a 1013 benefit tomorrow for one of our own police officers, Officer Lou Cavalcanti. He just received his heart transplant. He's been waiting for a while. He's at West County Medical Center, so it's been 48 hours. So if you can keep him in your prayers. And tomorrow at 6 o'clock in Stamford, we're having a 1013. Next, I'd just like to ask Detective Wasky Salem of the New York City Police Department, if you could stand up, please. Wasky Salem is a 1998 New York Shield Purple Heart recipient, and he's here tonight. The Purple Heart is the oldest American military decoration in the military merit. It was originally established by George Washington in 1782. It was awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who had been killed or wounded in action against the enemy. The New York State Shield's Purple Heart Award was designed in 1990 for the purpose of honoring law enforcement officers who have been wounded in the line of duty. Inspiration of this medal was due to large part by Shield's member Gary Schiller, a World War II veteran and Purple Heart recipient who was seriously wounded during the historic D-Day invasion. Gary is a past New York commander of the New York Military Order of Purple Heart and has led our Pledge of Allegiance at our annual memorial breakfast and general membership meetings. On Thursday, December 9, 2010, officers from the City of Stamford Police Department's Narcotics and Major Crimes Unit, along with patrol, attempted to serve a search and seizure warrant at the residence of one, and I'm going to mispronounce his name, Efren Godin. The warrant was a result of an investigation jointly conducted by the Narcotics and Major Crimes investigators involving illegal possession and sale of PCP and firearms violation. During the execution of this warrant, Officer Richard Gasparino was shot in the face and in the neck. The shooting occurred as officers were attempting to gain entry into the third floor rear entrance of a home. Officers were standing on a rear porch, which was very small, to operate in. As officers attempted to make entry into the heavy door, which unfortunately opened out instead of in, the perpetrator, Efren Godin, became alerted by the officer's presence and fired a shot through the door, striking Officer Gasparino. Officer Gasparino was immediately evacuated and transported by the patrol officers to Stamford ER. And after a protracted standoff, all the occupants of the residence were taken out, including one Efren Godin. Inside, officers located a large quantity of PCP, and of course they found the firearm used to shoot at Officer Gasparino. Officer The suspect Godin was eventually charged, and his court date's coming up in January, I believe, with criminal attempt at murder, first-degree assault, criminal possession of a pistol, criminal use of a weapon, illegal discharge of a firearm, stealing of a firearm, possession of hallucinogens, as well as several other narcotics violations. And Godin is a convicted felon, and the case was adopted by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Officer Gasparino suffered wounds to his face, neck, shoulder. His injuries required plastic surgery, multiple additional procedures, and he has since returned to full duty, working in the same exact unit. And at this time, we present the New York State Shield Purple Heart Medal. He was promoted last night to sergeant. Please stand for Police Sergeant Richard Gasparino.
Ready, Rick?
The New York State Shields Incorporated Purple Heart Medal, Police Officer Richard Gasparino, City of Stamford Police Department, in recognition of your devotion to duty and honor that exemplify the highest traditions of American law enforcement. Presented this 6th day of December 2011. The Executive Board of the New York State Shields Incorporated, Police Officer Daniel Kaplan, President.
First of all, I'd like to begin by thanking Officer Greg Cosi from the Stamford Police Department for nominating me for this distinguished award. And thank you to the New York State Shield Executive Board for choosing to bestow this honor upon me for holding this dinner here tonight. I'd also like to thank all of my fellow brother and sister officers of the Stamford Police Department for your continuous outpouring of support. I stand here today truly humbled by the number of you who took the time out of your busy schedules to be here tonight. It has almost been a year to the day when the incident occurred. Since that night, I have been flooded with overwhelming support. There is not a day that goes by that someone, whether it be a colleague, a member of the community, or a close friend, doesn't stop and ask, how am I doing? It has been this constant support and outpouring of concern that has gotten me through the rough patches and helped me in my overall recovery. It and honors like this one, the Purple Heart Medal, have provided me with the constant reminder why it is my life's work to serve as a police officer. I remain glad and thankful to return to the line of duty and join all of you in our fight against crime. To all of you here tonight, I'm so appreciative and will continue to be in the weeks, months, and even years ahead. I'd also like to thank my parents and in-laws for being here tonight and standing by me when I needed you the most. And to my wife, Laura, you have been an incredible source of support, patience, and love. I truly cannot have imagined during this difficult year without you, constantly by my side. In closing, I'd like to quote the New York State Shield's mission statement that said it best. Every day, men and women of law enforcement put their lives on the line to protect this great state and community of ours. Unfortunately, too many of them have made the ultimate sacrifice, their own lives, in the line of duty. I'm grateful to leave here with the highest of honors and will cherish it always. But those individuals made the truest of our heroes. Thank you.
And we have the City of Stamford Police Department. Those that are here, come on up here for a unit citation. Come on up here, guys. New York State Shields Incorporated, a unit citation to the City of Stamford Police Department in recognition of your devotion to duty and honor that exemplify the highest traditions of American law enforcement. Presented the 6th day of December 2011, the Executive Board of the New York State Shields Incorporated Police Officer Daniel Kaplan, President. I'd like to say that 16 years ago, Valerie Rentoul was at a Shields meeting, and she was telling us about how the morale in Connecticut was terrible, and I said, well, why don't we have a dinner and call it the Courage of Connecticut? Tonight, 15 years later, the Courage of Connecticut is on display, and I think we should give them all a good hand for what they've done. God bless you guys.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Greg. Another one of our trustees is out there, Charlie Boltman, retired from the Secret Service. Charlie, out there with us. I want to thank... All right, bring him up. Right to the front booth. It's better right into the flag. We're going to have Richard bring his family up to get a picture. Thank you, everybody. Tolerate the heat there. Get the air conditioning back on. We started a little bit late, waiting for a couple honorees, but we would not, with any further ado, I'd like to call up one of our trustees, Bobby Stork.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Board of the New York State Shields, honored guests, and award recipients, a very good evening to you. As a former member of the Board of the New York State Shields, as a member of the New York City Westchester Putnam County Shields, which has evolved into this parent organization, I welcome you and I thank you for sharing in this award presentation, dinner, and for partaking in this most reverent and honorable tradition of recognizing those among us who have served proudly in their respective capacities as law enforcement officials, and whose exemplary service has earned them the honor and respect of all who see and partake in this evening's presentations. More than 20 years ago, an idea took form, and the New York City Westchester County Putnam Shields was incorporated. The corporate name has evolved, as I said, and you now know it as the New York State Shields. And by its motto,